There are nights when I wake up gasping, drenched in sweat, the lingering echoes of whispers fading from my ears. Those nights always come with the scent of salt in the air, the distant sound of waves lapping against a shore, and the unsettling feeling that something is still watching me. The others say they feel it too, an unshakable sense that Isla Perdida hasn't let us go. I think back often to the days before the island, before everything changed in our life. If we had known what waited for us out there, would we still have gone? I ask myself this, but I know the answer. Liam wouldn't have let it go, and the rest of us, well, we had no idea what obsession could cost. It began with the journal. Liam was always scouring flea markets and antique shops, looking for curiosities. He loved old, forgotten things, letters, maps, photos, each a portal to some bygone world. So when he found the leather-bound book, its cover cracked and edges worn from time, he was immediately hooked. "Look at this," he had said, placing it reverently on the table during one of our usual hangouts. We leaned in, curious but skeptical. Clara, his sister, rolled her eyes. "Another one of your weird antiques?" "This one's different," Liam insisted. He flipped through the brittle pages, filled with spidery handwriting. "It's a travel log. Some explorer from the 1800s. Listen to this." He read aloud, his voice taking on a storyteller's cadence. "Isla Perdida, discovered, 1874. Coordinates unstable. An island lost in mist, where the earth hums and whispers speak of things buried deep. Do not linger past nightfall. Do not heed the voices. The altar must remain untouched." The room fell silent as we absorbed the words. Even Clara looked intrigued. "You think it's real?" Maya asked, leaning closer. Liam's grin was infectious. "The coordinates are right here," he said, tapping the page. "And look, this isn't some myth. This guy documented everything. He describes the island, the forest, the—" "Let me see that," Daniel interrupted, grabbing the journal. He skimmed the entry. "You know this is probably made up, right? A sailor's tall tale." "Or it's real," Liam countered, his eyes full of confidence. I should have known then that there was no talking him out of it. We set out early in the morning, the sky clear and the ocean calm. The boat, a sturdy fishing vessel named Maria's Grace, bobbed gently as we loaded our supplies. Tents, food, flashlights, and the journal that Liam treated like sacred scripture. Jonas stood by the helm, his weathered face unreadable as he watched us. "Once we're out there, there's no coming back until it's done," he warned. "We get it," Liam said, brushing him off. His excitement was contagious, even if the rest of us shared a quiet undercurrent of unease. As we pulled away from the harbor, I felt a strange tug in my chest, as though we were leaving something behind we wouldn't get back. The sea stretched out endlessly before us, the horizon blurring where the water met the sky. For the first day, the journey was almost pleasant. The sun shone brightly, its warmth cutting through the cool ocean breeze. We lounged on the deck, trading jokes and taking turns speculating about the island. Clara tried to draw it based on Liam's descriptions from the journal, sketching jagged cliffs and shadowed forests. Maya sat beside her. Think it'll really be as creepy as it sounds? Maya asked, peering over her shoulder. Probably not, Daniel said, leaning against the railing. We'll get there, find a bunch of rocks, and go home. Mystery solved. But as the hours passed, the air began to change. The first sign of strangeness came late that afternoon. Jonas had been quiet most of the day, focused on navigating, when he suddenly swore under his breath. "What is it?" Clara asked, looking up from her sketch pad. Jonas frowned at the compass in his hand. "It's acting up," he muttered. The needle spun lazily in circles, refusing to settle. Jonas shook it, tapped it against the side of the helm, but it didn't help. "Faulty equipment?" Liam asked, leaning over to get a closer look. "Maybe," Jonas said, but his tone was clipped, his brow furrowed. He didn't seem convinced. An hour later, the GPS began to malfunction. The screen flickered and froze, the numbers jumping erratically. Jonas fiddled with it, muttering curses under his breath. Anna came over, her expression uneasy. "We've had issues before in these waters," she said quietly, "but not like this. It's almost like—" She trailed off, her gaze fixed on the horizon. "Like what?" I asked. Anna hesitated, then shook her head. "Doesn't matter. We're still on course." That night, the ocean grew unsettlingly calm. The waves, which had been gently rocking the boat all day, stilled completely. The water was so flat it reflected the sky like a sheet of glass, creating the disorienting illusion that we were floating in midair. "What the hell?" Daniel murmured, leaning over the railing. "It's probably nothing," Liam said, though he didn't sound entirely convinced. Jonas stayed at the helm, his grip on the wheel tightening as the hours dragged on. Anna joined us on the deck, her usual cheerfulness replaced by a quiet tension. "There's something about this place," she said after a long silence. "What do you mean?" Maya asked, sitting up. Anna glanced at Jonas, who shook his head but didn't stop her. "If I were you, I wouldn't take anything lightly out here. The ocean has secrets it doesn't share easily." We didn't press her further.